Right, welcome back to episode 12 of our channel, and let's take the clamps off these wheels. That's looking pretty good. And that surface is looking pretty good too. Let's just flip it over and see what the other side's looking like. It's good on both sides, yes. So, actually before I sort out all the wood, I need to make a template for the seat. I have some old templates, but I'm not happy with the shape, so we're going to make a new one. And this, I think you've seen this before. In fact, I know you have. So just spreading the glue on the paper, make sure it goes everywhere. And then just squishing it flat against the MDF. Then we will go around it with the jigsaw. So I have cut out the shape for the seat, but what I want to do is make this line here easier to see. So I've got this flexible edge thing that I had when I was in high school. So I can move it to just try and match that line. And the beauty about this thing is that it forms sort of natural curves. So get round to there. So if I can keep the shape, and I'll just use my vivid marker just to go around there and outline where I'm going to seam to. So see, it's a neater line, so I'll just do the same for this side. Something a bit like that. straight it like that. Right, so we shall sand that to shape, and that'll give us our template. Right, so here we go, we've got our shape, our template on top of a nice thick piece of plywood with a, it looks like an oak sort of veneer on the top. So just trace around here. If we take that away, we'll see just how uniform it looks. Okay, so I think I've got the shape pretty close now. What I'm going to do is just take off the excess with the jigsaw, and then we'll set it up on the router table. So, jigsaw first. I have the router set up with a bit with a bearing at the top, so that means that we can put the router onto the piece and the bearing will run around the edge of the template. So the router bit that's in the machine at the moment will run along the edge here, and it will leave a wee shelf along here, and we'll change the router bit to the one we used previously, and that will trim the bottom piece to the new shape. This is all because the this plywood is 25mm thick. My flush trim bit is 19mm, so it's a bit short, and this is how I get around it. Right, I am now set up, so I've got the other router bit in there, flush trim bit, and you can see that the bearing's going to run along here. So whatever that is will be repeated down here, and that way we will get our seat trimmed to size. So here we go, it's all smooth along here. So I think all we need to do is just clean it up with the sander, and that'll take care of these little ledgy bits as well. And then that will be ready for mounting onto the motorbike body some point further down the line. And that's, the shape is better. It's looking a bit more uniform. So one of the last tasks with the seat is to just sand it lightly with some 120 grit, just to get rid of this double-sided tape residue. So it shouldn't take too long. There we go, I think we've got it all. This will be the underside anyway, but and this is going to have a round over, so anything like this marker pen, that'll all disappear. So yeah, hopefully you can see here that we have the grain has spread out here, which is going to look really good for these little engine cylinder pieces. So again, trace around the outside. And we're going to need 4 of those in total. Right, in order to remove this bit here, I'm going to use a chisel to just chip away at this. Take it down to the black line. So just bit by bit. And just put a slight round over on that, just by using the pressure from your finger. There we go, that's pretty good. Now we'll do the other side. Okay, so I have made a couple of spacers for these front fenders, front bumpers, front mudguards. So hopefully you can see it on camera, but there is a dotted line along the top of the wheel, and then there's the shape of the fender to go across there. I need to make a spacer because of the plywood wheel that we've got. So I've just printed out another copy of this full size and just cut round there and the shape of the wheel, and so I've ended up with something like this. So yes, that's the spacer for the front wheel. That'll go against the body of the rocker and between the front mudguard. And I've also done the same for the back. Same thing, just traced round on the other plane, cut that out and made another spacer. I'm not sure if this bit down the end is going to stay, it may or may not, but we can always chop it off later. So there we go, that's what I'm up to. So there we go, we've got our bits. I only need one of those because I already have one made. So yeah, this one is a little bit thick, so we'll need to plane this down to 18 millimeters, which is the thickness of the plywood. So yeah, so we can do that. Okay, so I've set up a small flattening jig that I've had for a wee while. On that I have mounted a couple of offcuts of plywood, screwed those in and stuck our rear fender spacer mudguard spacer to the board with some double-sided tape, and I have set up the router with a flat, well, the flattest bit I've got, and we're just going to, in 2 passes, take this down to, I don't know if you can see it, but take it down to that line, which is 18 mil. So yeah, so this is called a router sled. So okay, so there we go. That is (17.5mm). So I'm just going to give that a bit of a sand by hand, just smooth it out, and that should be good to go. So using our diagram for the right hand side of the bike, I have laid out roughly the bits that we have made. This is to work out which side I'm going to put a round over on. So show you what that looks like. So here we go, we've got the bits. So I'm going to put a round over on that side. This is the battery cover, so I've marked on the back, which is the back, so that's going to go onto the body, which means I need to round over this edge, and I've done that for all the pieces. So we're just going to go through and do the round over for these bits. that you can see much, but it's all there. So just repeat that for the other side. And there we go, there's the other side rounded over as well. Well, I think that'll do it for this video. Next time we will start sanding and maybe stick a few of these pieces on. That'll be good. Just like to say a huge thank you to my subscribers. I've reached 50 subscribers, so that is just mind-blowing. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for hitting the like button, and join us next time on the Workbench Apprentice.